Hello everyone, this is Brad from Chisai TV, and today we're going to talk about OSC. 皆さんこんにちは、ブラッドです。Today we're going to talk about OSC. OSC is kind of my abbreviation for operational state claiming. And operational state claiming is when you draft your claims in such a way that it recites your device when it's in operation. So here's an example. An OSC example would be an optical disc reader comprising a laser that reads an optical disc. I don't know, I'm kind of old, so I remember DVD players and CD players. I don't know if people use those so much anymore, but this is kind of would be a CD, DVD player, maybe a Blu-ray player example. So if you look at the red text, that's the important language there. So a laser that reads an optical disc. So you can see that that verb is in the present tense. So it's like a laser reading an optical disc, something like that. So it sounds like the device is working, it's in operation. So the language that reads, it kind of implies that the claim is reciting a device that is reading a disc. So it means that the device must be in operation to infringe this claim. Well, then why is that a bad thing? Well, if the claim recites a device in operation, this means that the claim is not infringed when the device is off. So, for example, I think you might know at the store, if you go to Big Camera or Yodobashi or something like that, the devices are in boxes and they're off. So in that case, they're in the off state. So a device like that in the off state is not going to infringe this claim. When does it infringe? It infringes when the user buys the device and then they plug it in and use it at home. Then the user is infringing the claim. So, for example, as it says here, a user but not a maker or a seller of a device would likely infringe the claim. And the problem with that is, for example, your competitor makes a device that infringes your claim, but only when the device is on. That means that the customer buys the device and the customer will infringe when they use it. Well, your competitor's customers are probably your customers or could be your customers too. So you don't want to attack those people, the users. You want to attack your competitor or possibly the seller of those devices. And if your claim is an OSC claim, which is only infringed when the device is on, then the maker and seller will probably not infringe that claim. So the claim is not very valuable, virtually valueless. So how can we correct this claim language so that the claim is infringed by devices that are powered on in use, or devices, well, and devices that are powered off? So devices as sold, you want the claim to be infringed as the device is sold in the powered off state, and also when it's being used. So here's an example. An optical disc reader comprising a laser configured to read an optical disc. This language configured to is kind of a little bit of kind of magic language in the claim. I would highly recommend to use this kind of language. So this means if it's configured to read, a configuration is like an arrangement of the parts or a setting of the device. So the configuration is the same in the on and off state. So in this case, this claim, this feature would be infringed if your competitor's optical disc reader is on or off. So in that case, when the device is being sold or when the device is manufactured by your competitor, when it's in the off state, if there is a laser configured to read a disk there, it would infringe this claim. So I also get questions when I teach this kind of configured to language. One of the biggest questions I get is, can we use different language, not exactly configured to? So what about using for reading? That's the most common one I get. So it would be laser for reading an optical disc. It's not really, I wouldn't recommend that so much because usually examiners regard that language as kind of intended use. And intended use language means that the intention of the laser is to be used to read a disk. That's the intent. So it's not really a configuration, it's a kind of desire for the function of the part. So in general, this kind of for reading, the purpose language or intended use language, most examiners, from my experience, will ignore that language. So it's not useful for avoiding the prior art, and it could be okay for infringement, but it's not so clear. So I would avoid that kind of language. I would stick to configured to, because configured to, it implies that there is a arrangement or a setup of the device, and not just how the device is intended to be used. And alright, if you want to learn more, I recommend you check out the website, jizitv.com, and you can also sign up for the newsletter there. These videos these videos are based on topics that are newsletter topics I've done in the past, but the videos are different. So I did a previous newsletter on operational state claiming, but this video is a bit different than that. So I think if you sign up for the newsletter, you can get kind of the reading experience and also the kind of listening experience for the same topics. And that'll do it for this video, and I will see you next time. ありがとうございました。